You know what this whole thing feels like? It feels like when I was a kid and I had a favorite toy. Mine was actually this little cow, and her name was Milky the cow, and she was this plastic cow about this big, and you pumped her tail and she drank this water that you put a little pill in, and then it turns white, and then you, like, she goes "Mrrr" when she's done, and then she has a little udder. It was the 70s, all right? And you like pulled on her little udder and you milked her, and then it said specifically like, don't drink the milk. Of course we drank it. It tastes like, I don't know, it wasn't good. You only do that once or twice, and then you try to talk your friend into it. Anyway, it was one of my favorite toys. My mom won it at Kmart Bingo, which means all these toys that they couldn't sell because they'd been like the model that they put up, you know, and stapled them to the board, or it had been returned without packaging or something. And she would win. They would have Kmart Bingo, and all the employees would play bingo, and they got these prizes. And she brought me home Milky the magical milking cow. Anyway, I don't remember if it was magical. Milky was one of my favorite toys. And what this whole TikTok thing feels like is, if I were to be playing with that toy and I wasn't playing the way I was supposed to be playing with it, like maybe drinking the milk, and she would take it from me and be like, you can have this back when you decide that you're not gonna drink the milk anymore. But I really want to drink the milk. But I say, of course I say, I'm not going to drink the milk. And then she gives it back to me, and it's so tempting to want to drink the milk, even though it's gross. And I have to really behave myself. I can't, like, leave it outside, because one time I left it outside, and she took it away from me for, like, way more than the 12 hours TikTok just got pulled from us, like 2 or 3 days before I got it back. And what happened was, when she would pull it away and then give it back to me, like that in between time, it was like, I don't know when she's gonna give it back, because I don't have any power. Like, she's mom. She can decide. She could say, I'm gonna give it back to you tomorrow, and then completely forget where she put it. Or, you know, just not give it back at all because she thought that I was never gonna behave with it, or I was gonna leave it outside, or that I didn't need it anymore, or that I outgrew it, or that it was dumb. And then she would eventually give it back. And then there was this one time, randomly, she took it away, and I forgot about it. I didn't ask for it. I had other toys to play with. I went and did other things. And then one day she's like, you know what? I just realized Milky the cow is up on the shelf. Do you want it? And I was like, yeah, I'll have it. And it sat on my shelf. And I looked at it once in a while. I'm like, I remember playing with Milky. And eventually I, grew up, went to college. I don't know what happened to Milky. Milky the magic cow is gone. That's what it reminds me of. That tension of like, when's she going to give it back? Is she going to give it back? What are going to be the rules when she gives it back? Like, is it going to be worse? Is it going to be like, not only can you not drink the milk, but you cannot take it outside because you keep leaving it outside? Or if you play with it, you have to, every time you're done playing with it, you have to put it a certain way. You can't name it anything else. You have to call it Milky the magical milking cow. Like, what were they going to be the parameters? I don't like that. That was like weird because it was my favorite toy. I just wanted to play with it. Like, I just wanted to have it and play with it. However I want to play with it. It was a magic milking cow. Like, just let me have it and play with it. And it was really like, when you're a kid, yes, you just want to play, but it's really important to you. That toy, that special toy is super important to you. And it feels like the whole world's coming to an end. But the thing is, TikTok really is that important to me. It really is important to a lot of people. It's not just a magical milking cow, but I was left feeling that uncertainty, and I don't like it. And now I'm even more suspicious of what's happening than I was before. I'm really suspicious. I don't want to be suspicious of TikTok, but I am. I was already suspicious of the government, but now that's like, I'm like bombastic side eye to that. And what's going on? Anyway, did anybody else have Milky the magical milking cow?